those really interesting problems because it affects all of us. And it feels like such an important part of who we are and what we do. And, you know, the idea of like a really gnarly problem with a lot of feelings and heart around it, that means a lot to a lot of people. And it feels like something we could reasonably solve. And so, you know, given the opportunity to work with some people and finding ways to either solve it or at least make it better, that's a heck of an opportunity. And I think, you know, it's also a lot of fun. And I think we've done some really good work and really interesting work along the way.
The Solutions Lab was going to be something quite different. It was going to be a little bit edgy, with, you know, a very different approach, bringing in people from diverse backgrounds and perspectives.
We started out with all of us as individuals and just coming up with, you know, where are the problem areas? What can we do, or what can we suggest that can take these problem areas to an area of agreement between everybody, landlords, tenants, the different user groups around the territory, whether it be the ones that are looking at social housing or helping hard to house.
I appreciated the structure, the relentlessness that the whole group had towards it, the relentlessness. We met so many times, so many nights. Everybody gave up their lives basically to try to put their time into this and really get a common ground, a common solution. I'm proud that we were all united on
it. As we were starting to talk about what housing meant and what it looked like, and there's a lot of noise happening in the media, a lot of stories on all sides, landlords and tenants. And it felt like a very contentious, very difficult problem. And so when the invitation came to come and play and come and work on the problem, you know, I was interested, but I was concerned. I thought it was going to be a very contentious, a lot of anger in the room. And I thought it was going to be very difficult for us to work forward and get to a place of ideas, generating ideas and solutions.
Well, at the beginning, it was really obvious that some of the participants were coming to the table with some really definitive ideas, you know, based on their experience of landlords and tenants or both. And a lot of them, you know, were not really positive.
And I remember sort of being trepidatious that first meeting, sort of going around the room, introducing where everybody was and sort of what positions and everybody was coming from and places. And I was like, oh, here we go. And next day, the next session, I was shocked at how, well, everybody was coming from different places, how much we had in common, that everybody was interested in solving the problem.
I was so impressed with the fact that people very thoughtfully and very respectfully listened to everyone, and in order to understand where other people were coming from. And I'm always fond of saying there's always three sides to every story.
And that when we set aside sort of the big stories and the drama around it, and we're like, okay, how do we actually work this problem and get it to a better place? How everybody came together. There was so much, you know, willingness to engage with each other and the problem. And I was shocked. I was floored at just the willingness of everybody to engage in things that probably, if you read their bios, was probably very uncomfortable and a bit antithetical to who they were. But I think that has led to like a really interesting place where I think we got a lot farther than I ever thought we would because of that willingness to engage.
They were contributing, and therefore they made sure they showed up. That's not common. So that was great too.
Think about the cross-jurisdictional scan and how there are jurisdictions that have unique ideas on it, which was great. And we've kind of pulled the best of together and then built on it to say, look, this is the best of.
You know, we shared a lot of laughs too. It lightened the mood, and it made it not an adversarial process.
I think the defining moment was the very end, that last day where we said, okay, we're done. We're ready to hand this in. Really, really proud of what we all accomplished.
Now it's time for our group to present these ideas and concepts. They're not the be all end all. They're just, our group has done some very heavy lifting on the most controversial topics. So hopefully this will be the preliminary discussion to kind of guide where these conversations go. Of course, public consultation is the most important part. We need these voices to look at this and say, you know, that's a great idea, or no, we can't work with this, or but if you can't work with it, you know, as I always say, we don't want just naysayers. We need people to bring forth their solutions to that issue. So I think moving forward, this is an exciting time.
This is a complicated and imperfect problem. To engage with this in a way that works for our community, as opposed to advancing sort of what I believe to be true, we might have to step outside of ourselves and sit with some things that might be a little uncomfortable.
We have to come together and find common ground for everybody. Landlords need to respect tenants, tenants need to respect landlords and the properties that they're housed in.
The government wants to hear this. They want to come to get something that's going to work. And so I think all Yukoners need to figure out what will work for us in the government.
And so I would encourage people that want to take part in the public engagement process to come in with an open mind and be respectful and really take part in a really positive manner. Don't just jump into something thinking that you have all the answers completely. No, join in, but do join in. Please join in. Don't just.
But know that everything that we did was in the best interests of everybody in the Yukon, housing-wide.
So it's very rewarding to know that, you know, something that I've never thought could even happened in such short time frame too. And I don't have the words to say how uplifted I am right now and happy and moving things forward.
This lab has been eye-opening. It's been a great process. We've done so much ground internally as a team to come up with these ideas and solutions versus, you know, we sit at these consultation tables, you vent about what your issues are, and you hope the government's listening, and maybe you might see some of that trickle through.
It was interesting to see all groups related to this having the same issues, having the same concerns. And I think that's where change can happen. I'm proud of everybody putting in the effort and listening to each other. I think we're all more connected than we think and understand the other side of the coin.
It feels very uplifting, very rewarding, very empowering of helping others.
Maybe I had a rest of Canada that they'll say when they do their scans, be able to say, hey, you know, like that's a very unique, interesting way to look at it, and it's successful. And so we may see the rest of Canada. Maybe I say, hey, you know, these guys kind of looked at the problems, figured them out, and it's working well up there. So that's kind of an exciting idea and a concept, and I think will be precedent setting.
It was a positive experience. There was no cussing and swearing and hollering or anything like that. It was just, hey, here we got a thing, let's tuck in and get at it. It was great. Everybody should have a chance to be part of something like that.
Now it's time to really vet them and think about what will work, because what's brought in to legislation, if and when it is brought in, will be the rules that we'll be playing by for a long time coming. And so let's find something that will really work for us. Let's think about all the unintended consequences that we can, and then let's move ahead and make something that will protect Yukoners with their homes while also protecting property rights of landowners, and allow us to have this great balance where we can have a system that will work for all.